I am a non-engineer. In my first attempt, I scored 96 percentile in the quant section. In my second attempt, which was this year, I scored 95.75 percentile. I only did arithmetic. I didn't do geometry, didn't do modern math, I didn't do number system. Let me share how I approached this section step by step. 19 marks gave me 95.75 percentile. 15 to 20 quality questions. Mocks are not for ego, but they are for learning. Analyze it perfectly. Otherwise, I believe that mock would be a waste. Percentages, averages, ratios, simple interest, compound interest, profit and loss, time, speed, distance, time and work, pipes and crystals. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before I start this video, I want to tell you all that I am a non-engineer and I have given CAT twice. In my first attempt, I scored 96 percentile in the quant section, and in my second attempt, which was this year, I scored 95.75 percentile. And no, I did not cover the entire syllabus. I only did arithmetic, but I did it perfectly. Other than arithmetic, I touched upon some basic topics. In algebra, I remember I only did one thing, which was how to find out roots of a given equation. That was all that I did in algebra. I didn't do geometry seriously. I didn't do modern maths. I didn't do number system, probability, nothing. I saw some questions in geometry, number system and modern maths, but I wasn't able to attempt any of the questions from these topics in the actual exam. And still, I ended up with 95.75 percentile. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that CAT is not about doing everything. It's about doing few things, but with perfection, like really well. When it comes to the quant section, there is no shortcut, there is no magical trick. Let me be very honest with you. But there is a process. And if you trust that process, if you follow that process, then the results will definitely come. So let me share how I approach this section step by step. No theory, but what I actually did, I'll be sharing that with you. So the first and the foremost important step is the conceptual clarity. And when I say concept clarity, I am not saying कि हाँ समझ में आ गया. Concept clarity means clarity to a point that you can make someone else understand the concepts without having to look at your notes. So that's why I watched lectures again and again. If a concept didn't click for the first time, I would never move ahead. For the sake of finishing the syllabus, I would pause the video, I would watch it over and over again. I tried to figure out why this formula is being applied. I did not just try to mug up the formula, but I actually try to understand the logic behind it. Because believe me, CAT doesn't test your memory, it tests your understanding. Now comes the second step, which people usually underestimate, and that is formulas. Formulas should be on your fingertips, not just in your notebook or not just in your phone, but you should be able to recall like this. For that, what I did was, and this is honest, first thing that I did after waking up was I would have a look at all the formulas, and then before sleeping also I would have a look at all the formulas. One more thing I did was that I made my own proper formula sheet. And I know there are a lot of formula sheets available on the internet, but I made my own formula sheet, and then I would have a look at other formula sheets also in case if there was something extra in those sheets, I would then refer to those formulas also. Third step, and this is extremely important, is the previous year questions. Trust me when I tell you this, previous year questions are gold, absolute gold. If you want to find out how CAT thinks, how CAT frames questions, or how CAT twists basic concepts, then PYQs are your answers. Like they are a must and you cannot avoid them. So don't just solve PYQs once and move on. Just solve them a lot of times so that you actually understand what's going on. Only after your foundation is strong, you should move to the fourth step, which is mocks. And trust me when I tell you this, I did not score well in any of my mocks, be it sectional or be it full mock. I never scored well. Highest I scored was 88 percentile in the quant section. Other than that, I always scored in 50s or 60s. One thing we need to understand is that mocks are not for ego, but they are for learning. Every mock will tell what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and what is your accuracy rate. And one more very important thing you must realize is that real improvement doesn't happen while writing the mock. It actually happens when you analyze it. You have to analyze it perfectly. Otherwise, I believe that mock would be a waste. Now, let me talk specifically about arithmetic, the only topic I did perfectly and which led me to score 95 percentile. Arithmetic is the highest ROI area in the quant section. I did not leave a single topic in the arithmetic section. Percentages, averages, ratios, simple interest, compound interest, profit and loss, time, speed, distance, time and work, pipes and crystals. I did everything perfectly. Instead of blindly memorizing the formulas, I would always try to understand the logic behind them. And that somehow really helped me. So, first I solved LOD 1 questions. That is level of difficulty 1, because I wanted to build that confidence. I was too scared of this section, and most importantly, I was scared of difficult and moderate questions. So first I tackled easier questions in all the topics, and then I switched to LOD2 and LOD3 questions. My daily target was to do 15 to 20 quality questions and not just any random questions. One more thing I did was that I rotated topics. I did not just pick up one topic and did all the questions from that topic, because I wanted to avoid the boredom, honestly. I didn't quite like this section, so I had to make it interesting. Since I wasn't very good at this section, so I did not just give sectional mocks of the quant section, but I also gave topic wise sectional mocks. So those topic wise mocks really helped me. And yeah, so they provided me with a lot of conceptual clarity, and I could do a lot of practice with those mocks. Even more important than attempting mocks was analysis. After every mock, I would ask myself that, was this a conceptual mistake, or did I misread something, or did I make a calculation mistake? So I would do thorough analysis, in which it is a must. So many people talk about that their speed in the quant section is very low. I can completely relate with that, because my speed initially was, I think it was the lowest. I can't imagine anyone to be as low as I was. But I also feel that speed is a byproduct of clarity and practice. As I practiced more and more, my speed naturally increased. You speed cannot be forced, it comes with practice. And one more thing I did was I would mark the questions that I found difficult, and I would make sure to revisit those questions during weekends. So what this repetition does is it locks concepts permanently in your mind. This time in the quant section I only scored 19 marks, and those 19 marks gave me 95.75 percentile. So you can imagine, just by solving 6-7 questions, you are good to go. That clearly shows that you need not do everything, but whatever you do, you got to do it with perfection. So if you are someone who is a non-engineer or who's just scared of quants, then trust me, I have been in your shoes. I remember when I first looked at the syllabus, I genuinely felt overwhelmed. But this is what we need to understand. CAT doesn't require you to know everything, but it requires you to be able to think clearly under pressure. And trust me, you do not win quants by chasing every topic. You win it by choosing some high return areas and understanding those topics to the best of your ability. So that's it. This is how I prepared for the quant section and what worked for me. You don't need to copy me blindly. You can just make your own strategies and all. And it's always good to know perspectives from different people. That's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.